All right, so lately I've been watching a lot of Thomas Campbell. And for those of you who don't know, Thomas Campbell is a very enlightened man. He has been meditating for decades. He used to be a physicist, and then he began meditating in his 20s and just really got a real grasp of reality that the majority of people on this earth will never understand. When you listen to this guy talk, you just see in his eyes, you hear it in his voice, like this guy is very, very wise. And he's done a lot of paranormal stuff. He's done a lot of astral projection. He trains people how to have paranormal experiences themselves, whether people want to have outer body experiences. I guess they're called out of body experiences, where you leave your body and you go into other dimensions, downloading data streams for the universe. This guy, he is just he's just fascinating, and I've been watching a lot of his videos lately. And in this meditation session, I just want to talk about him because he's been on my mind a lot. I just want to try and make sense of him and his teachings. He goes pretty deep, and he talks about a lot of very kind of nuanced, complex topics. He has a book called My Big Toe, which is my big theory of everything. He believes that he has the nature of this reality down to a science. Like he believes that he can define what reality is and how reality works. And he basically explains this energy field that we're in as a virtual reality. Much like if you play World of Warcraft, like the players in World of Warcraft are like us human beings. The players in World of Warcraft are in a virtual reality. They are all interacting with other beings who have their own choices that they can make. They have their own free will. We believe that we are these avatars. We believe we are these meat suits, these bodies, but that's not what we are. We are a point of consciousness that is using these avatars, these bodies, to move around in this virtual reality, which we call life. And Thomas Campbell says that this virtual reality is part of a larger consciousness system, which a lot of people call God. That larger consciousness system is creating this virtual reality that we are moving around in. And it feels so real, it looks so real, it smells so real, but it's all an illusion. It's just a simulation, just like in World of Warcraft. The characters in World of Warcraft, their world feels so real, the trees look so real. If you put your foot in water, you get wet. But it is all an illusion. It's not real. And our reality is, in his words, it's like the exact same thing. This reality seems so real. This reality that you are currently watching this YouTube video in right now. You are sitting in your chair or you are standing up. You are breathing. You are thinking. There's blood pumping through your body. It feels so real, but it is all an illusion. This is a dream that we are in right now. But this is all floating in nothingness. So we are walking around in this reality, and we believe that we are these avatars, but we are actually the point of consciousness behind these avatars. And these avatars plug us in to this virtual reality that we are in. And so we are moving around, we are interacting with other avatars, we are drinking, we are eating, and we are trying to look for a purpose. We are trying to look for a meaning in this life. Because when we are babies, we are just born, and there is no manuscript for life. There is no manual for life. There is no chalkboard in the sky with directions for how to be the best person you can be. There is no rules for this reality that you need to abide by. We have morals, but those are all man-made. Where are the actual directions for how to live a good life? What should we be doing as human beings? What is our purpose here in this reality? And as Thomas Campbell states it, the purpose of being human in this reality is to evolve towards love. So, in his words, when reality was first created, you could kind of think of it like scientists in a laboratory, or computer scientists, when they want to run a program on a computer, they will create the parameters for that computer program, and they will hit the start button and just let that program do whatever it does. They will set guidelines for the program, they will set expectations for the program, but when they hit that start button, them as computer scientists are waiting to see what that program does, how it evolves, right? And they run these tests, and the computer program evolves, it bumps into itself, it has to make calculations, it has to expand, but it is operating in the parameters that they created when they started this program. So if you think of life like that computer program, then you could think of God as like these computer scientists that wanted to create reality and see what happens. So it's like God, whatever God is, wanted to experience life. It wanted to experience being alive. So it created this computer program called life. It set certain parameters for it. It set certain guidelines for it. It had causation and effect. If you stick your foot in water, it gets wet. It created chemical reactions. If you light a match, you have fire. There were certain rules for this reality. And then it just hit the start button, which you could think of as like the Big Bang Theory, and life just started. And it has been ever evolving since that moment of starting. It has been expanding, it has been adapting, it has been bumping into itself, it has been learning, it has been growing. It is this intelligent, alive life form that is just expanding. It is trying to figure out what it is. And so Thomas Campbell says there were stages of this program. So at first, what he says is that when God created life, he just created like all these things. God created trees and bugs and objects and rocks and air and all these chemicals, but they didn't have a purpose. They were just existing. They were just kind of floating there in this realm of existence. And God got bored of that. God was like, well, these things are all kind of interesting, but I want to see how they interact. I want to see what happens when they interact with each other. So God got this idea to create kind of like a mission for these things, a purpose for these things, so that there was a reason for them to be there. And as Thomas Campbell explains it, these things wanted to move towards a state of purity, a state of wholeness, a state of low entropy, as he calls it. God set a certain parameter for reality, and that parameter for reality was for life to move towards love, move towards wholeness, move towards a state of peace and coherence, out of chaos. And so that's why when you do something bad, you feel bad. Your body creates emotions in your body that tell you, I'm doing something wrong. If you're mean to somebody, you feel bad. If you think something that upsets you and makes you angry or scared, you feel bad. That is your body's emotional guidance system that is guiding you towards lower entropy. And all living things have certain parameters installed in their DNA to keep them alive, to keep their species alive, and to grow. You could look at any animal. Take a crow. A crow knows it needs to eat. A crow knows it needs to drink water. It needs to sleep. It needs to reproduce. And it needs to not be eaten by other crows or other animals. And crows usually will hang out together because they don't want to die. They want to be safe. So they will cling into these groups. Some animals go out on their own, but all animals want to survive. All animals want to reproduce. All animals want to feel good. No animal wants to suffer. And human beings are no different. We want the same things. We want to expand. We want to feel love. We want to feel good emotions. We want to eat. We want to reproduce. We want to keep our species going. And all of life operates under these rules of moving towards a state of lower entropy. And that makes life exciting to God. God wants to experience a goal. God wants to have a purpose. Because, going back to the original point, if everything's just existing, but there's no point of anything existing, then it's kind of boring. It's like if you had a movie with just a bunch of random stuff happening, it wouldn't be very interesting because there's no story to the movie. The movie's not going anywhere. It's just, oh, this guy drank a glass of water, and then, oh, we have somebody else, eating a sandwich, and then we jump scenes to, two people dancing, and it's just like, okay, yeah, that's kind of, I guess, kind of cool, but like, where is the intention behind any of that? Where is the motivation? What are they trying to accomplish? That movie wouldn't be very interesting. What makes a movie fascinating, what makes a movie bring tears to your eyes is a story, an objective, an arc, challenges, dark periods, moments where the hero thinks that it's impossible, where a hero almost gives up but keeps going. That is what makes the movie so interesting. And if you think of life as like a movie that God created because it wanted to experience life, then yes, life has a purpose. Life has obstacles. If every animal, if every living thing wants to move toward a state of wholeness, of love, of lower entropy, then you have challenges in front of you. Because if you want to be loving, but there are people around you who are angry and who are trying to hurt you because they are in a lower state of consciousness, that is a challenge. Okay, how do I stay loving? How do I stay in a high vibration when there are people around me who are trying to bring me down? Or if I want to be this incredible singer and bring tears to people's eyes when they hear me sing, but I have no money and I am living out of my car, well, you have a struggle in front of you. You have a challenge in front of you. It's not just handed to you, because that wouldn't be very interesting if everything was just handed to you. You have a challenge. You have struggles in front of you that you need to overcome. And that is exciting. That is where life feels exciting. That is where life challenges you and makes you grow and makes you become a better person. You're moving towards a higher state of consciousness because of the challenges in front of you, because of the struggles and the obstacles in front of you. And every animal, every human being has these struggles, has these obstacles. A fox that needs to eat food. You know how hard it is to find animals in the winter when it's freezing and there's snow all over the ground. The fox knows, if I don't eat, I'm going to die. That is a challenge. And you might say, well, what about the mouse that it eats? Isn't that bad for the mouse? Has God lost its mind? Why would it create a system where another animal has to suffer for something else to survive? And for that mouse, the mouse has its own obstacles. The mouse has its own challenges. It needs to not be eaten by the fox. And so you have this huge, infinite playground where all these different beings are all trying to understand their meaning. They're trying to survive, but they're also trying to be loving. And life sometimes feels like it doesn't make any freaking sense. Why do horrible things happen in this reality? Why is there so much evil? Why does an animal have to eat another animal to survive? And I don't know if we will ever fully understand life. This video is not meant to say, this is how it is. This video is just kind of me talking about these subjects, these topics, because I find them so fascinating. And Thomas Campbell is so fascinating. And life is so freaking fascinating. And I just want to talk about it and get the gears in their heads thinking, because it can feel easy to feel lost in life, to feel like, what is the point? What is the purpose of this? Where is any of this going? What is the point of life? And when you start to meditate and you start to ask these questions, what is life? What is reality? What am I? What is the point of life? You are forcing your mind to start coming up with answers, because your mind is a supercomputer. Your mind is the most powerful tool you own. And when you ask questions like that, your mind will start to create answers for you. The answer that you're looking for is out there. And when I listen to people like Thomas Campbell, I just get so fired up, and it makes me emotional, because life is just truly, truly insane. It's truly beautiful. It's just so absolutely crazy. And yeah, I just think about this stuff all the time. And one of the things I'm trying to figure out is, what is good and what is bad? Is there a right and is there a wrong? Because yes, we talk about lowering your entropy, moving toward a state of being whole, being in a state of love. But I guess my question is, can life be wrong? Can God make mistakes? What if life didn't work out like God had hoped? What if God ran this program and wanted to move towards a state of fullness, of wholeness, of love, but it didn't work? Life failed. Life went haywire. There was some glitch in life's program. How would God feel about that? Would that be okay? I don't know. This stuff is so interesting. And I'm going to keep meditating. I'm going to keep sitting out here in nature, not moving, and just thinking and just trying to come up with the answers, because this stuff is so fascinating. I love talking about this stuff. And I don't know if it's possible to know the answers. I don't know if it's possible to fully understand the mechanics of reality. Thomas Campbell is very confident that he has it figured out. But I mean, even he, I'm sure, will tell you this is just a theory. There's no way. I just don't think humans will ever understand what reality is. I think our field of understanding just isn't deep enough. It's like a drop of water in an ocean. It's just so, our understanding of the mechanics of life is just, I just don't know if we'll ever fully grasp it. But it's really fun to think about. And, if you look at a blade of grass, that blade of grass is so incredibly complex. That blade of grass has infinite components to it. If you put a blade of grass under a microscope, there are trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of things in just that blade of grass. It just goes on forever. And that's just one blade of freaking grass in an infinite galaxy. It's mind-boggling. It's absolutely insane how complex life is. And the more I talk about this stuff, the better I'm going to get at talking about it. The more I meditate, the better I will get at explaining this, because it is so complex. It is so nuanced. But it's really fun to talk about this stuff. It's really interesting. And when I get in nature and I just sit still and I let my mind just wander, sometimes it just gets so still and it's so peaceful and everything just makes sense. And then I get up and I go back into society and I'm interacting with people and I have deadlines I have to hit and I have meetings I need to go to, and you lose that touch of just peace and quiet. Because when you get out in nature and you're just still, it's oh man, it's really nice. Yeah. So, yeah, this stuff's pretty crazy, man. And I don't know. I just hope that something I said made sense to you guys. I hope that I didn't come off sounding like a crazy person. I'm not crazy, man. I'm really not. I am very sane. I just question everything. I'm such a deep thinker. I'm so curious about life. I question everything. And I think that's healthy. I think that's healthy to be curious and to wonder and to explore and not take things as truth when they're really just an assumption. We have so many assumptions for life, but what is the truth? That's what I want to know. Life is so crazy, man. It's so freaking crazy. It's so interesting. When you start to question things, when you start to become more and more enlightened, it's just, it'll blow your mind, man. It'll blow your mind. And there's a lot of different ways to get there. You can get there through meditation. You can get there through asking questions about reality. Ask the question, what am I? Who is observing my thoughts? What is reality? What is God? Ask these questions and just see what does your mind come up with. Once you start going down the rabbit hole, it gets weirder and weirder and weirder and crazier, but not in a bad way. It's just exciting. It's really cool. It's really freaking cool, man. Like, I just love kind of where I'm at right now. I love thinking like this. I love that my mind is opening to these new possibilities. And it takes some effort to get there, but trust me, man, go outside and find a quiet place and start meditating, and you'll start to poke some holes in the veil around you. Trust me.